had to sit in this darkness. And what happened was I found my light in the darkness, because looking into your life and figuring out what is going to save you. Nobody's going to save you other than yourself.
You guys, we have got a repeat performance. Craig Sotkovsky is with us again. He is the international speaker, mindset coach, real estate investor with 3 decades of experience helping entrepreneurs reclaim their purpose. He inspires clients to break free from their limiting beliefs, achieves authentic success, and while he's mentoring them in real estate investing, he's also leading a pathway to financial freedom and legacy building. Craig, welcome back and make yourself at home.
Thanks, Dee. I greatly appreciate the opportunity.
You have been an amazing person to speak with, and I truly enjoyed you being on the show the last time. We got to talk a little bit about, a lot of different things, yes, but we were talking mostly about the 9/11 fund and the things that you're doing because you're so dedicated to your cause. I know that surviving cancer kind of reshaped you in your approach to everything. How did cancer basically put a spotlight on your approach to entrepreneurship, your resiliency, and your legacy building?
So as I was battling cancer and going through the mental part of cancer, because it's not talked about, it really isn't. And when you're given a diagnosis of cancer, you're like, really? Like, this is me? Like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah, nobody
and for the longest time, it was like, woe's me. And it was like, when I broke, it was, why not you? Like, crappy things happen to great people all the time, and good things happen to terrible people all the time. So why not you? It's just part of my story. And what I realized early on was there was a lot of pain and misery and just self-loathing and self-sabotaging behaviors and just all the things of feeling less than. And I don't want people to go through that. I don't want people to go through how I felt.
Well, all right. So as a female, my brain does not talk to me very nicely every single day. And that's one of the things that I've had to battle with. And I know I'm not the only person to do this. That would you speak to your best friend the way that you speak to yourself every day? And it is a constant battle. So not like anybody, you don't wish cancer on anyone, but was that kind of your, like you said, woe is me, bad things happen to everyone. And so when you ask why me, you also have to ask why me when the good stuff happens too. So, like I said, you don't want to wish cancer on anybody or on yourself, but is that really what shifted your thought process?
So what shifted my thought process was that, like, I have a daughter watching everything that I do, right? So it's like, how do I gain anything from this? And I've had an amazingly screwed up life. And when I tell my stories, it's kind of like I have to include this one in the story as well, right? Cancer. And it's just part of life. It's part of going through pain. It's part of alchemizing everything. And what I found out was I was uniquely different because I sat in my living room and I absorbed all of this. And then I started doing the dark work on myself. And in the end, it turned out that my dark turned on a light and changed my biochemistry, and I'm never going back to who I used to be. And I'm here as the world's cheerleader. I want everybody to win because of all the circumstances that I've had in my life. I want to be a better person and a different person. So, in order for me to be a better person and a different person, I have to be accountable. And I have to be accountable for my actions.
So your daughter is your inspiration for helping other people break free from those same limiting beliefs that you've had.
Oh, absolutely. Because I used to take her to my meetings. I used to mentor entrepreneurs in Atlanta, young entrepreneurs. And what we started to realize was the mindset of a young person, right, is based off of the experiences, how they're raised and everything. And I wanted my daughter to come to these meetings with me, and she heard horrific stories. And we didn't understand that in Atlanta, human trafficking is huge. And what happened was kids were coming in, young adults were coming in and exposing their trauma, and they were walking out of our meetings like, wow, I've had that for 20 years. And all of a sudden, man, if I feel a lot less, I feel a lot lighter. And that sparked something in me. It really did. And I was battling cancer at the time. I was battling my procedures, I was battling surgeries, and it was just like one of those things where I had the opportunity to teach, and I did.
Well, I mean, we're talking about this trauma, and a lot of times that we carry this trauma with us, and we have no idea that the trauma that we carry goes into every piece that we have, every piece of our life. And so, our mind is our biggest tool. And if we can turn that light on, which we're never taught how to, two things we're not taught in school. How do we get our brain to actually engage to change all the things that we need to in our life? And how do we take care of our finances? Those are two things we're never taught.
And there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And rich isn't anything that you own. Rich is who you become in the process of building. And a lot of people get stuck with their story. We all have sad stories. We really do. We all have sad stories. It's when you alchemize the emotional attachment to the story that your whole mindset starts to change, because your body starts to change. We're no longer looking for the external validation when we validated ourselves internally.
So, all right, let's go with that. So how do we turn that on?
You have to sit in your story. Like, I'm going against all the rules and regulations of psychiatry and psychology. I'm just saying this based off of my experience. Okay. When you sit in your dark, I mean your terrible crap, right? Because only you know what's in your head. See, we think other people know our story, and it's kind of laughable because nobody does until we express it. So I sat in my dark for so long that I was able to alchemize it. I was able to break my story down and fix all the nuances, all the pieces of me. Because I put the time, I sat in my living room for 6 years. I mean, I did other things, but mostly 6 years, because I was self-isolating, because I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't freely travel, because if I went on a plane, my lungs hurt, because the capacity of my lung capacity wasn't there. So I had to build myself up. Plus, I was in so much physical pain because they cut all my nerve endings through my ribs. So it was, oh, you got to stay. Maybe we did road trips and we lived, yes. But for the most part, I had to sit in this darkness. And what happened was I found my light in the darkness. Because looking into your life and figuring out what is going to save you Nobody's going to save you other than yourself. So it's this hero's journey we have to go on, and you have to become the producer, the director, the actor, the grip. You have to become everybody in this movie. So if you're not going to physically participate and mentally participate in life's coming at us, whether we want to participate or not, man. So we better get on board. Better get on board and start believing in the things you cannot see.
So you talk about sitting in your dark. When you're talking about sitting in your dark, what do you mean?
So I was molested as a kid, right? And it took me until I was in my 40s to process that. And I used to be a national speaker at convention centers because we formulated the first online repository of owner finance and lease purchase properties in the world. So as I was promoting this, I'd be speaking, giving people suggestions and ideas, and in the end, getting the claps, getting the accolades, walking off stage, thinking I was less than, because I didn't sit in being traumatized as a child.
I know that there are people out there and they're like, okay, we keep hearing this. We keep hearing you've got to sit in it. And they don't know what that means.
You literally have to sit in it. Just sit, stop, close your eyes, right? Close your eyes and just listen to the silence in your head. Because silence can be extremely loud, man. Extremely loud. And going through cancer, right? It was like, all right. Now, during all of this, I was told I was going to be treated for possibly being treated for cancer 4 different times. So it wasn't just like I had lung cancer. Twice they told me about male breast cancer. So, I mean, I have crazy friends, like, one day, you'll get a real cancer, like we used to laugh and joke about it, but I mean, just one diagnosis is devastating. 4 different times. And it was like, I needed to have some way of, number one, I was crappy on morphine, Dilaudid, Percocets, Percodan. My daughter and my wife were like, you're a really shitty person when you're on these drugs. You got to stop. And I didn't know that the mind can shut it off. Now I sat in meditation 5, 6, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, listening to tones and frequencies. And people ask me all the time, well, what did you do? And I tell them, and I send them recordings. This is on Joe Dispenza. This is on YouTube. This is all free. And I would send them these recordings. And they were like, nah, this isn't going to work for me. And I'm like, you're a human being. Of course it's going to work for you. You just don't want to get uncomfortable with who you are. And you have to get uncomfortable. You have to, because as we're alchemizing, right, we're starting to get to that uncomfortable feeling, and then the comfort zone wants to save us because we're all about fight, flight, and freeze. However, we're all about optimizing our life to the best of our ability as well. So what happens while we're doing all of this, right? Our biochemistry, we can be in charge of our biochemistry inside. Instead of the adrenaline and cortisol, you can tap in to the oxytocin and serotonin and dopamine hits from ourselves. Because right now, everybody's freaked out. Everybody has anxiety and depression. The reason why they have anxiety and depression, right? And this is no good for an investor. This is no good for an entrepreneur. Because anxiety and depression is going to leave you reactionary, more so than responding to all the fires that you have to put out as an entrepreneur. So it's like you're constantly jumping. And it's like, no, you need to sit, shut up, sit, take notice of your life. And unfortunately, people would rather die than change. It's a scientific fact. Because as soon as we get uncomfortable with ourselves, that comfort zone wants to kick in. And your comfort zone is not saving you. It's not.
Wholeheartedly. But, I mean, you say you would rather die than change. And that's where, I personally struggle. Because I'm constantly trying to learn, and I'm constantly trying to become the better version of me. Always trying to be the better version of me. So I learn, like you talked about learning about tones, learned about solfeggio tones. We started listening to those. There's different hertzes, especially if you've had any kind of pain or any kind of illness. You look for anything.
When are you listening to these things?
While I'm asleep. Well, right before I go to sleep, right before I wake up. So you're trying to get that theta waves,
Yep.
trying to grab the not asleep, not awake kind of place. You right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the best way to learn, because your conscious thought is going to sleep.
Yeah. So you're trying to work it in that aspect.
See, but the thing is, so it's the words and phrases that you use. Because we're not trying, we're doing. That's an entirely different state. That's an entirely different state that we're being. Because remember, we're human beings, not humans' doings. Right? So as you're falling asleep, right, your conscious thought has nodded out. Now your subconscious behavior is picking in. How many times have you tried it?
Oh, I use solfeggio tones 5 days a week.
How come not 7?
It depends on how tired I am.
No, but you have to become this. Right? We have I am affirmations. Every morning I am affirmations. Every night I am affirmations. You have to become those I am affirmations. Like, I am literally in this state all the time. You'll see me walking in the street. I'm listening to Joe Dispenza meditations. You see me in a gym. I'm listening to tonalities. I'm listening to frequencies. This is who I became. And I'm no longer sitting in that adrenaline and cortisol. It's just not, it's the chemicals that pump through us, right?
Yeah.
Our hormones are pumped from our heart. It's a different delivery system. So when we have heart and brain coherence, people are like, what is heart and brain coherence? It's when you become that thing that you tap into that helps us pump our heart without us thinking about it. Breathe without us thinking about it. We all have this greatness inside of us. And this is the reason why I say people would rather die than change. Because this is sweat equity. This is work, right? This is like, if you're going to become a millionaire, you act like a millionaire. You want to be a teacher, you act like a teacher. But you become the teacher. See, people are always working on that grand idea that's up here, right? It's up here. Here's that potential. This is the point we want to reach. Well, realistically, the point we want to reach is death, because nobody gets out of this thing alive, right? So why not become a better version of you here through the process? So you're consistently doing it. You're consistently changing your habits. You're consistently changing your thoughts on how to become a better person.
So walk me through, and I know your days are different now, but walk me through what this is. Because, we listen to Mel Robbins or Joe Dispenza. We listen to Craig Sotkovsky. I want to walk me through, you wake up in the morning, and when you're waking up, you're in those theta waves. What should you be aiming for? What should you have? Should the solfeggio tones be playing then? Or should you have a recording of yourself that is doing the I am affirmation so you can hear that in the morning?
As soon as I wake up, first thing I do is just say I'm grateful. Thank you. I look up at the ceiling and I'm like, thanks for another day. Thanks for another day just to piss people off. Because I know I'm going to piss people off, right? And I've totally, I am behind that, right? Like, I put mirrors up to people's faces. And I'm here to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. with all the empathy in the world, all the love. I want people to grow and be better for themselves. So first thing, thank you. I'm breathing because there's been many days where I wasn't breathing. Right? So I have to rely on that. I go back to those stories, right? Where I almost wasn't here breathing. And I immediately feel grateful. Next, put in Neville Goddard and listen to him for an hour. Listen to him talk about how the greatness inside of you. See, we have to do this before the day gets a hold of us, right? Because most people, as soon as they wake up, they're looking at their iPhone. First thing. Well, you're already triggering responses into your brain without you even thinking about it. You've already set the day by, oh God, what's going on in Gaza? What did the president just say? And then your mind starts going. So you woke up and your day is already scheduled for you. I want to hit the day with my programming. So I programmed my day.
And most people don't.
No, they don't. The first thing they do is grab their phone. Oh, let me check on my friends. Your friends don't care about you. They're glad you have your problems. And are they really your friends? No, these are all social media. This is all social media. Everybody's looking, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. I walked into the gym the other day, and there was a girl, and she was standing there, right? She was standing there, and she had her phone on a tripod, and she was like, right? And then I saw her leave the gym. She came to the gym, she took her photos, pictures, yeah, and then she left. And it's like, so you're not even going to work out.
She wasn't there for the workout. She was there for the clout.
Yeah. She made sure she got all of that stuff in it. And those are the people, unfortunately, as soon as their fans don't respond to what they are, right? They have anxiety and depression. And it's like, I don't get it anymore. I don't.
We have 20-year-olds. Our kids are the same age as your daughter. Our sons are 27, 26, 25, and 24. And, they've not known a life without the internet. They've barely known life without a cell phone. I mean, and our kids didn't get cell phones until they were older, but that's the generation that's out there. It's like, I'm here for the clout. And I tell the kids all the time, I'm like, don't pay attention to social media. That's everybody's highlight reels. That's not the real life. What you want to be and what you want to do is all determined up here.
I was listening to this girl today, right? Just flipping through stuff, right? Because I was mindlessly scrolling. Because I'm concentrating on, I have my computer here, my cell phone here. And I'm just like mindlessly scrolling, and I'm doing this and I'm looking at that. And she was bragging. Okay. She was bragging. No, I'm dead serious, right? She was bragging about the 2,400 people that she slept with.
Oh, good Lord.
Right? And she's a good looking young lady. And she was like, man, could you imagine rallying up those numbers? And I'm saying to myself, society is listening to this, right? And approving it, clapping for it. And it's like 2,400 people? Like, I read the comments, and the comments were just...
I figured there'd be a bunch of dudes going, next.
Yes, but and it's crazy because so we used to get online, right? To just get away from our everyday life. Okay, now we shut off our phone to get away from our everyday life. And everything is switched. So everything is instantaneous now, because if something happens in India, as it's happening, somebody's got a phone, and I'm watching it happen. And it's all over the world. It's in every culture. And sadly, We have anxiety and depression like we've never had before.
So, all right, we've talked about we're thankful, and and a lot of people aren't, and
No.
so that does take a lot to do for yourself. So every day I start with, I write in the 3 things I'm thankful for before I get up in the morning, and then before I go to bed at night, the 3 things that happened to me that I'm thankful for during the day. But then I also change my, my I am statements, my I am affirmations are the things that I am working towards or that I am becoming.
Why are you working towards it? Why don't you just become it now? Just become it now. Just say whatever it is that you're working towards, right? Feel it. That's
These are
it.
the things that I'm talking about. Like, I meditate on what does it feel like, to be, in the top 200 real estate agents.
Why in the top 200?
That was the goal I set for myself.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to think, why not just get radically uncomfortable with how you think? I want to be the best speaker in the world that I can be.
Yeah.
There's no
the
numbers.
Best person I can be, the best real estate agent, the best mom, the best person that I can be.
That you can be.
Yes.
Okay, and if that brings you to higher numbers, amazing. But, however, pero, when we say but, we don't believe what we just said.
Okay.
Right? That's why we say pero. Or try. Why am I trying? Life isn't a buffet. I'm not trying this. I'm being it. I'm being it. So you need to be it. You have to have that being inside of you. Tap in and believe. Believe first and foremost that you are it. And just work from that. Now, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. This is not easy. It's simple. Because what I do now, and I isolate myself, man, for a reason. I'm so close to being a shaman from Jersey, that actual event, right? But I feel myself in the process that I always have to be. I have to be practicing. I have to be this guy. I have to be, because why am I going to say that I'm the shaman from Jersey? Shaman just means healed. So I understand being healed is a process. And there's always things that are going to come up in your life where it's going to try to bounce you back a little bit. And instead of the days, weeks, and months, now it bounces me back 30 seconds. Then I'm like, wait a minute. No, forget about that noise.
That's it. The noise. These are the common limiting beliefs that we all live with.
Everybody has them. It's just, when you're looking at certain people, right? Certain people have the edge because they're being that person. So I have the edge because I'm being that guy. If something knocks me down, it's for 30 seconds and I regroup and go after it again and be it again and become it again.
But that's the thing, is how do we grab a hold of, so let's ask the question. What's the most common limiting belief that keeps people from taking action and achieving their success?
Believing we're not enough. And you have to know that you are.
So, all right, we don't believe we're enough. Like I said, I'm a female. I talk to myself, not the greatest. So those are the things that I battle.
But why do you talk to yourself not in the greatest way? You wouldn't talk to your friend that way. So why are you talking to yourself that way?
And
again, no judgment.
No, there is no judgment. Yeah. It's the truth. I'm bringing myself here.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're beating yourself up, why? Now we have to cut to the story of who told you you're less than. No, and this is what I do. It's you chop people down to build them up. So you want to find out the story that's holding you back, that you have the emotional attachment to.
That is no longer serving my purpose.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing. So we talk, my husband and I talk about, I'm sorry that I stepped, we all have a past. He has an ex-wife. I have an ex-husband. We all have a past. So there are things that will happen. You'll say something, you'll trigger each other, and especially if you're married to somebody, you'll step on a landmine and not know it. And then you're like, okay, how did that just blow up? Because I don't know how we got there.
Because somebody had unresolved issues. Okay, now if you're in the right relationship, right, you work on each other's unresolved issues.
Correct. So we always go back to the beginning.
Okay, so when you're working on unresolved issues, you grow together. That's a partnership. That's a partnership that is amazing, right? Because if you're trying or attempting or saying to somebody, let's heal, and they're like, no, I have no time for that. No communication, man. No communication. I can tell you exactly where the relationship's going.
So we always try to backtrack, and it's like, okay, how did we get here? All right, what did I say? What was it that initiated this?
It was maybe how you said it.
Yeah, it could be tone, and so just like you, I've had a horrific past. Absolutely,
You call it outside the lines.
Yeah. Well, and it's not only that. It's things that were done to me before.
Yes, but you call it outside. You call it outside the lines. See, it's how you recall, right? So the recall obviously just triggered you, right? Because the emotional response to exactly what you were just talking about is like, whoa, okay, well, that was back then, right? So the mind doesn't know the difference of time. It doesn't know the difference between fantasy or reality. And when we have recalls, you felt it in your chest, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, because you changed your biochemistry.
And that's what you talked about the last time. So, all right, now how do we reclaim when that happens? My biochemistry just changed. How do I shift that back? Because like you said, it only takes you 30 seconds to recall, to go back to where you were.
Yes, because as soon as I feel that, it's like, oh, no, you work too hard to go back there, right? Okay. How about the recall? And this is going to sound really strange. Throw love at it. Because you're throwing fear at it. Now throw love at it. Throw love at you. Throw love at the situation. And when you throw love at everything, look, you're not responsible for what the person did. You're only responsible in how you heal from it. So throw love at yourself.
So if I throw love at the situation, such as the recall that I had, and I think of, like I said, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Craig, help me.
So here's the thing, right? What happens to us, right? First response is that fucker. I want him dead. I want it dead. No, right? I mean, that's a natural thing, right? Instead of that, how about looking at the little child, right? Looking at the little child and saying, you know what? You didn't have the ability to cope with that. So I'm helping you now. I'm helping you. Right?
So instead of focusing on what happened, focus on the kid.
On the little child. Yeah. Little child. And what's going to happen is the little child is going to look at you as the adult and be like, wow, you've become this amazing person. Thank you. And you do this every day, man, things start to change. Look, I'm getting goosebumps. Things are starting to change, man. And I've been able to do this for myself simply because I've isolated myself. Like everybody's got their job. My job is to help heal the world because I've healed myself. And I know if I'm healing myself, it's an ongoing process. Because there's incidences that show up in my life where I'm just like that. And then I'm like, throw love at it. You don't know what they went through. You don't know the punishing things that they had to go through.
Or how they talk to themselves every day.
Yes, because you're not them. You only can control this. This is the only real estate we can own. So why are you going to have people living in your head rent free? You got to charge these people.
So that's the thing, is mastering personal resilience.
It's called personal development for a reason. It's called personal growth. It's called self-respect. Everything is about us. We have everything inside of us. See, we're always looking for external validation. We believe, right? When my kid gets married, I'm going to be happy. When my dog grows up, I'm going to be happy. When I get a brand new car, I'm going to be happy. When my house why not be happy now? It's a choice. I just refuse to be miserable. A doctor comes in, like I've had so many incidences where the doctor was like, hey, you know what? If you didn't come into the ER, you'd be dead by the morning. Wow, you know what? I didn't have to go to the ER today. So when I run into obstacles, the first thing I throw at it is I don't have cancer, and this is nothing to a giant. That's it. Those are my two responses. I'm throwing love at it. I'm not throwing the hateful, vindictive, no. I refuse to. I refuse to be on that energetic level.
And that's where most people, have the hardest time is.
Yes, because they're not looking at themselves with love. They're looking to themselves as a victim. And it sounds callous, but you're not a victim. You're love. Express love. Most people don't want to be vulnerable. I'm the first one that throws up my hand. Whenever something happens, I'm like, I need help. I need help. Right? Because if I'm not doing it, and they're like, oh, he's needy, he's this, he's that. I don't care. I'm getting my projects done. I need help. And it's like I don't care about the opinions of people because I've already validated myself. I don't need the validation of people. Places, things, no validation whatsoever. Because I've gone through the pain, misery, and suffering. I don't want humans to feel like that. The way I felt, I never want anybody to feel like that. One of the biggest things is hugs. Oh my God, a hug.
So I like I said, my husband and I just celebrated our first wedding anniversary.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm in my 50s. He's getting ready to be 60. So it's not like we haven't been around the block. We've been married before. And I have 20-year-old sons that I'm trying to get them, to understand what this world is like. And so we talk to them all the time about, what does it take to be a good husband? So as a mom, I send them all the little cheesy little things, and, that lets them know that they matter to me, to their dad. They matter. And so it was, God, years ago that I sent them the little thing that says, if you hug a woman for 20 seconds, you can actually feel her release, and you can actually feel the cortisol level in her body drop. You can physically feel it.
I'll be a parent too.
So my oldest will literally hug me, and you'll hear him go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's counting because he knows that.
I'm gonna spit up my coffee.
His stepmom, he has seen it, and he does it with his girl. He has seen it because he knows the 20-second rule will help release the cortisol.
But what happened? But even that, what happens with that? You might get a little frisky, right?
Oh, God. Not my own. They're in their 20s.
I'm not talking about you. No, I'm not talking about
With
you.
his girl?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
With his girl?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I said. You might drop them. They might drop their pants.
That's
too. I mean,
good. That's all right.
Yeah, no,
that's okay. I'm
that's
ready
amazing.
for grandbabies. We're ready for
Yeah.
grandbabies.
It's just an amazing feeling. Why not throw love at everything? You can throw love, because it's like throwing love at yourself. Right? Like I've been in like the worst pain mentally, physically. I'm done with that vindictive crap, man. I want to love the world. So the world goes out and gives hugs.
I mean, how many times have we seen so many other people? It's just, if you watch the news, which I don't recommend for anybody.
Shut the news off. That's an external thing, right? It's designed to do that so you don't tap into yourself. Everything is designed so you don't tap into yourself. You have to dial your frequency, because they've dialed in your frequency. They've dialed in the frequency of just complete crap, where they got you exactly where they want you, so you don't concentrate on yourself.
And that's where the first time that we spoke, that was the one thing I was like, I want to trigger people to understand what true wealth is. And it's being able to sit inside yourself and know that you are rich and you are wealth. I mean, we've been told, we live in America. You're in Mexico, but we live in North America. We are wealthier than 90% of the world. If you've got change, you're wealthier than 90% of the world.
I know people down here that have nothing monetarily, happiest people in the world.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the things my husband would go to Jamaica, and he's like, I love that country because everybody's happy.
I used to live down there. I lived in the bush with somebody that was savant, and he showed me exactly what the mind can do. No running water, no electricity. We used to take showers in the waterfall, and it was like one of the happiest times of my life, because there wasn't anything externally that, like, oh, look at the money that you have. Look at that. No, I was eating fruit off the trees, and it's amazing. It really was.
But that's that's one of the things, is there's enough wealth in the world to go around, and you don't have to focus on money or anything else to make yourself wealthy.
No, focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. And what happens? I focus on myself, right? And then I talk to somebody, right? One of my clients or somebody that I'm mentoring, and they focus on themselves. And then they show somebody how to focus on themselves. And then they show somebody to focus on themselves. And then so on and so on. And then everybody's working on themselves. The biggest project you should be working on is yourself.
Yeah. It's a candle. If you light one other candle, you've doubled the light that's in the room.
Yes. And all you need is that one spark to light up the room.
And it doesn't dim your light, and it doesn't dim you at all. You are literally just multiplying the light that you have.
Yes. Is that success? I believe it is. I believe it is.
So, but how do we you talk about you're wanting to make the world a better place. That's one of the things. My goal has always been to make my industry better, to make humanity better. And that's how I treat every single day.
And you have to, okay, how you do that is you make yourself better. You become the blueprint for people's lives. You become the blueprint for an organization. You become a blueprint for an industry.
So, mastering personal resilience. How does somebody be able to bounce back after 30 seconds? Just, I know you said, here we are,
Pain, misery, suffering, self-loathing, self-sabotaging behavior, all the crippling things that humans go through.
Yeah.
That's how you bounce back. You ever see somebody like, I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, right? Rick Hackboth. And we were talking, and it was like, oh man, on his birthday, yesterday was his birthday.
Happy birthday.
On his birthday, he celebrated by taking a boat that he sold, and it was sold 2 other times, right? The last person that it sold to didn't have the title. The title was never transferred.
Yeah.
So when the boat sunk, okay, it was still in Rick's name. He celebrated by going and getting the boat out because it was a $200, $300, $400 fine to Rick, right? And he had to get the boat with his trailer, loaded up, right? And it was like 2 hours away. So I said, how, like, so that made you mad? He's like, no, I was on the water.
Yeah.
Everything's perspective.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, so what do? You go from molestation, drug addiction, bankruptcies. You go through losing houses, cars. You go through cancer. You go through Barrett's esophagus where my throat just closes. You go through, 30 surgeries, 40 surgeries and procedures since 2017. What's next? Smile. I've already been brought down to my knees.
Yeah.
I already know what all the crap in this world is about. And it didn't make me vindictive. It didn't make me bitter. It made me happy.
Yeah.
It made me happy that I have an actual opportunity again for another day. It's perspective.
Craig, as always, you are a light in this world that we look forward to. I know that you are going across country. I know that one of the things that we talked about is your 9/11 fund. We are going to promote that on here as well. Guys, if you want to help Craig, this is the way that, we'll have all of the links for you to be able to join in with him, partner with him, to be able to make a difference in this world. Craig, every single time I talk, I learn more, and I'm able to keep going, and I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Dee. I really do. You show me love, and thank you so much.
I greatly appreciate the fact that you'll spend time with me. Thanks for joining me on Make Yourself at Home. I hope you found insights and inspiration to help you navigate your real estate journey with confidence. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share this show with your friends, because everyone deserves to feel at home. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and keep making moves that matter.